Hey y'all, I am so excited about this next guest that we have on our episode. As y'all know, we have been doing a Women in series. And to kick things off with the Women in series, we are going to be sitting down with one of my favorite people on this earth. It's Candace, aka Cult Classiq. Yes, y'all remember her. We definitely had her on so many of our events. We had her at our panel discussion. We actually interviewed her and her partner Fiona with 90-minute Workday. So she is like one of our faves. She has been doing this media thing for years. Like me and her actually connected, ironically, in the corporate sector.
Yeah.
In the corporate sector. So Candace was working in this building. I'm not going to say the name of the company. And then I was working in the same company building. It was like one of those office buildings that has a bunch of companies.
Oh, I remember this story now.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And we would just like, I don't know, energy matches vibe. You know, we just like had this thing where we would just connect, you know, and we were just talking about life and talking about the things that we were interested in. And, you know, she was blogging and I was doing, we're just coming off of doing Freaks and Geeks Radio. And we were like transitioning into what Cognac Cupcakes and Conversations became.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and we were just like, you know, connecting on that, like, damn, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't understand what's next. I want to have those creative eyes, but I don't really know where to go. It was so refreshing to meet someone who understood where I was coming from and who has been there, who's like done and accomplished so many things. And then they have that same creative spirit. Like, this is something that's like, oh, wow, I feel seen. Somebody else is going through what I'm going through. So from there, we just connected and we just been vibed ever since. Yeah. So without further ado, we present to you Cult Classiq.
Oh my gosh, thank you for that introduction. I echo everything you just said. Like for me, going into that building every day, it was not the most diverse place in terms of race, gender, or age, but just to be able to like come downstairs and talk to you and just run into you in the halls and just be like, girl, like, I know we don't work at the same company, but like you the only sister I see.
I know.
Like, oh my gosh. And
like,
yeah.
I see you. You see me?
Right.
You're real. You're real.
Yeah. Like honestly, like that was a rough, as a professional, that was like a rough 2 years for me. And so it was little things like that, like knowing like I would bump into you, or there's a chance if I'm headed, you know, to the gym, I might see you or something like that. Those little moments really made it bearable and made it, you know, something I could, you know, stick through.
I'm hiking you.
Right. Yes. Yeah, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. So for those who don't know, which you should know about her by now, but for those who don't know, tell us about yourself because you have quite the extensive resume.
Yeah, so okay, so on paper, I'm a content strategist. So I currently work at Creative Theory Agency. It's a Black-owned marketing agency based in Washington, D.C. Yeah. And it's the home of Gift Shop, which is a store for Black-owned goods made by creators based in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. In my work, I help brands like Netflix, Facebook, and Google figure out the right mediums and the right messages to talk to and connect to diverse audiences. So this could be anything from like just general strategy or social media or in live in-person experiences or virtual experiences or digital marketing. I'm also a producer, so I'm currently producing a documentary on behalf of the Musicianship, which is a sponsoring not sponsoring, but the sponsoring and managing organization of the DC Funk Parade. And I'm also the homie, so I believe in this, like talking to other people, connecting with people, showing up for people, making people feel seen and celebrated. So I'm a co-founder of 90-minute Workday. So that is a community of leaders, owners, professionals, and entrepreneurs. We come together once a month and we just work on our to-do list. My co-founder Fiona and I, we like to say it's like a grown-ass study hall. So you come in with your to-do list, we put the timer on for you, you get it done, and then when the timer's up, you share you know, how it went for you. You celebrate what you checked off, because, you know, we all need that little validation, like, girl, I crushed it today. And then if you had any obstacles or challenges, you can share those as well, safe space for that. And usually somebody in the room that's part of the community can say like, oh, you struggled with making your marketing plan? I do that in my sleep. Or you didn't know how to phrase this? Like, let me see, I'll take a stab at it. And it's just little things like that that I enjoy as the homie, as just a person that just wants to see other people connecting and building with each other. I also regularly participate in alumni panels at my alma mater, Georgetown University. The panels tend to focus on navigating the gig and creative economy. Georgetown, you know, that's where Bill Clinton went to school, and quite a few other politicians.
You're right. Go ahead and name drop, sis. Go ahead.
Well, you know, it's not a name drop, but what I'm trying to say is that it's hard to be a creative at Georgetown University. Like that's not the path. You know, usually it's like, I want to be a lawyer, or politician, or work in education, or work in policy, or something like that. So if you are thinking of freelancing or owning your own business or being a creative at Georgetown University, you kind of got to figure out your own way, or like connect with people, search really hard to find people that can help you to do that. And I, in the past year, have been just strengthening my relationship there, so that I can just make it easier for somebody that's like, man, like this isn't like USC or anything like that, where a lot of creatives are born, but damn it, I want to make a film. Like, and I want to know that there's support for you there, or want people to know that there's support for them there, rather.
Look at you creating lanes for people in multiple ways. I love that. You know, what really something that spoke to me that you said was the work that you're doing with 90-minute workday, with allowing yourself to celebrate those moments. Because I think a lot of times, like, we get so in a rut of checking off these to-do lists, trying to do everything done, and we don't ever really celebrate the moment. That is me talking to me. Hi. You know,
me too, sis.
Right. So being in an environment that is a creative, safe space for other people to be able to celebrate your accomplishments with you, makes you a little bit more prone to, you know, accomplishing more.
Yeah. And enjoying the moment too. I struggled a lot with like celebrating myself. A lot of us do, and I don't know why that is. I'm sure that's a whole other podcast episode that you guys can cover. But yeah, I'm honored and grateful that I'm able to help people do that, as I learn how to do that for myself as well.
That reminds me of one of the questions that we actually had here, which was, you know, earlier you was talking about creating spaces, and, you know, how you was talking about celebrating ourselves, especially as women. And there is a lot of talk in social media and just in the industry in general about creating spaces for different marginalized groups. Why do you think it's important to create a safe space for entrepreneurs in particular, and, you know, people that have dreams that they want to get out there, especially female ones, female dreamers?
Yeah, it's so important to have these spaces, because it's time and time again. I'm going to speak from this as a woman of color, a Black woman principally. The world has proven to be unsafe. And we can go through, again, another podcast topic. Like, there's numerous examples of where Black women are being oppressed or undervalued, or, you know, just not in optimal conditions to be their fullest and truest selves and most authentic selves. So by taking the space, we're creating the space, is actually like damn near an act of rebellion. It's almost political. Like us having this conversation is even like its own miracle, that we're able just to connect and just be fully and safely ourselves, and have the platform to do that.
Right.
So
and create our own platform to do that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And likewise, not waiting for permission or waiting for, you know, someone else to say, like, we want to hear what Black women have to say. Like, no, we're just going to do that for ourselves. I think that is so essential. Because this could be a lonely road, like entrepreneurship and working in the media. I don't know, I can't speak for anyone else's experiences, but, you know, as a middle-class Black person, little Black girl in Baltimore, like, this was something that you either had to be like really working in media was something that you had to be like wealthy to do, like you're wealthy and you're connected and somebody can get you in there, or you had to like just go like believe in your talent and just go all out, like I'm just going to bank, I'm just going to bet on myself and get into media. But often we're encouraged to play it safe, and therefore we don't have like, you know, there's no one to turn to say like, oh, when I, you know, worked at this, you know, media or entertainment company, I did it this way, or, you know, it's hard to find those kind of mentors. And that's why the spaces are important, so that the women who have been in your shoes or are in your shoes now or want to be in your shoes can all come together and we can help each other grow and, you know, share the cheat code. There's no reason why, you know, someone after me should be making the same mistakes I made. And so that's what I feel is like the importance and the like the holiness attached to making a space for Black women.
Kel and I talk about that all the time with, you know, what is the factor, like how are these other, you know, whatever we're trying to do, like we are feeling stuck in a rut. We're like, yo, like what are the keys? Like what is the cheat code? And I heard Pharrell talk about that in a recent interview, like share them cheat codes, bruh.
Yes.
There's no reason why we shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, it's about a community. It's really about like building with each other. And if we all are experiencing the same things, but in different ways, I think the importance of sharing those different formulas can change the trajectory of however, you know, whatever we're going through or whatever we're feeling. So, I mean, community, man.
Yeah, like so important to me. Like honestly, it's been the driving force for why I do certain things, and the like, and the only way that I'm able to do so many things is because I have a community. I feel supported, like I don't feel alone. So it's just been like a source of fuel for me.
Absolutely. You know, it's been rough during this COVID season. And some people cope with adapting. Some people, you know, are staying sane through keeping their schedules, like me, you know, busy. But you mentioned that you were in a season of play on one of your recent cult TV episodes when we were talking about who is cult. And I want to know, what has this season of play taught you about yourself?
Yeah, so the season of play was 2020. It was my return to producing my show called TV Where Culture Connects. Currently on hiatus, so if you're listening to this, don't rush and go look for it.
No, but I feel like your episodes were so meaningful. They should rush and go listen to your episodes. They were so many gems that were dropped on that one
relevant.
episode. Yes,
it's still relevant.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, ladies. Look, I got 3 in the vault. Like, you know, I will make me go ahead and release them. But season of play, I think so let me take a step back. You and I were talking about how we met and the conditions that we met under. We were both in the corporate world where, you know, I was in a white corporate world where there was no room for creativity. Creativity was always secondary to who I am. And so when I started doing creative things, I was applying that corporate pressure to it. Like, what are the metrics saying? Who's looking at this? Did you do this in a year? What was the 6-month plan? What was the 1 year? What was the 5 year? And that's fine. Those things are necessary for a thriving business. However, when you are creative, they can be stifling, because then you feel like, oh, it didn't go viral. I didn't get all these views, or I didn't, get the outcome that I wanted, or I'm not, I don't have X many followers, and what have you. And so play was my way of returning to the roots of being creative and not taking myself seriously. Like, I needed to take myself seriously as a creative and respect the fact that, like, I build things out of nothing, or I take things that don't seem connected and I make connections, and then I hopefully make them resonate with people who care about the same things. So I had to take that piece seriously, but I needed to not take the numbers seriously or the outcome. So for that season, I didn't have an editor. I didn't have an arc for the season. Like, I didn't say I need to talk to these people and reach this person because it was really, what do I feel like doing? What is meaningful to me? What is the conversation that I want to have right now? Who do I find interesting? Who's intriguing me? Who am I obsessed with? Like, who am I fangirling? So that season was all about that. And with that, it did two things. One, it gave me, so there were a lot of problems in 2020, like from the pandemic to everything caused by the pandemic. So for me, in my personal life, I was coming out of an awesome 2 years as assistant director at PBS Kids. I was coming out of that. So I was fun employed. I was fortunate enough. So I was fortunate enough to have money, but I was also searching for what's next. But then it was like a pandemic. So all the jobs were saying like, well, we'd love to have you, but we also don't know what the hell is going on. So we're going to talk to you, but then you're not going to hear from us for a month. And then we're going to pop back and our office is closed. And then couple that uncertainty with the isolation that comes from being in a pandemic and the apathy that comes from like, my whole world is in my living room right now. Like I'm going from bedroom to living room, bedroom to living room. So from that, focusing on play, those are a lot of problems. And the only way I felt like I could get out of them was through creativity. Like I had to build my way out of being fun employed. Like I had to like build my way out of being apathetic and jaded about the state of the world by creating something new and remaining optimistic. And so a season of play was really about just doing what felt right and being flexible and nimble enough to remain agile. Because as you know, like those first few months of the pandemic, we're still in the pandemic, but the very first few months, it was like, I don't even know anything. Like, what do I do? Yeah, so I guess what I gained from that was embracing myself fully as a creative. I started freelancing and I was like scared I was going to be broke, and I wasn't broke. I found a community creative theory agency, a community where I can be the creative I wanted to be and work on projects that matter to me. Yeah, so I think that I needed that. It was a season for a show, but it was really a season for myself as well. Like, just play, like just explore, just learn, just, my writing got better. Like if I felt like learning about something, I learned about it. Like I bought roller skates, I bought a strip pole, I bought a book about writing for comedy. Cause if I felt like learning it, I was like, F it, like I'm just gonna play. Like I'm gonna buy some clay. Like I'm gonna, like, I don't even, I don't do like, tactile things, but F it, like I'm gonna do it because it's a season of play.
that is so dope. Before I move on to the next question, that is so dope because a lot of Black women aren't afforded that opportunity and that privilege to do that. They always talk about like, not to make it a racial thing, but they talk about like how white kids go backpacking and take off a year, to find themselves from school and stuff, and we just keep going, and then we burn out.
Yep.
And so it's funny because I'm in a similar season right now, like career wise. And I haven't seen it as play as much, but I have explored more and more what my talents are. But now I think I'm gonna play with them more. I'm gonna start. You've inspired me to play more and look at it more like that.
I definitely see that with you too, even down to coloring. Like when you was talking about the different things that you picked up, I know that's something that you've been picking up lately. I don't know if you've done it since, the last couple of months or whatever, but you had a coloring book, and that reminded me of like that inner child, it brings the craziest
like
things.
Highlights. It was like a highlights book, but it was, I can't even remember. It's like this artist named Osiris, I think is his name. He's on Instagram, and he made like a grown-up highlights book. With what is the guy's name? Quay. Yeah, blame it on Quay. And actually that's they. Let me say their name is Blame It on Quay. And it was, what's her name? Jess Hilarious. But they were dressed up like Baps on the cover. It was so cute, and it had a whole storyline. That was a nice little escape. That
sounds like heat. Like that sounds so fun.
It was. They had like all these little scenarios in the book where, like, of course there was coloring, but there were puzzles, just like a highlights book, and it was all around like them going to the club, Quay falling in love with some guy, And you know, it was just like really funny and cute. Quay and Just Hilarious beating up the guy when he cheats on, you know, it was just really, it was cute. But getting back to the interview. So
it's just the interview. Like, this
right.
is conversation.
You're right. But women go through a lot in the workplace in general, that especially in the entertainment media arena. And I mean, me and Kel have so many stories that we can share of our own, from stolen ideas to unequal pay to even harassment. And we'll be working 10 times harder to get our just due, but the tolerance for these abusers gets closer and closer to zero now with Me Too. But do you think we'll ever be more equal in any of those senses?
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
Particular, as women.
Okay.
Even as Black women, because we have to kind of acknowledge all
True
women aren't equal.
True that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm keep saying yeah because it's like, do I want to even start there? I might not get into that. Will we ever be equal? You know, statistically, stats show that the pay gap prior to the pandemic, the pay gap was slightly narrowing. So I think that there is a chance that we could reach parity with men in terms of what we're owed and how we're compensated and how we're treated in the workplace. That is something that seems to be feasible. I'm saying it in these very hesitant tones because I think no matter how close we inch there via like, you know, maybe they pass laws that, you know, enforce pay transparency. So then, you know, it's women are getting more equitable pay, or, you know, jobs become more supportive by women and we get more women in leadership. Those things are fine, but they're kind of the Band-Aid on a real issue. Like, I think the true issue or the true challenges with being equal in workspaces and just in general across the board. I think the real challenge is in like the attitudes that we have about women in the work that they do. I think that, you know, for example, I said prior to the pandemic that, you know, the salaries were becoming more, the pay gap was narrowing. But due to the pandemic, many women are now, you know, playing the role of like teacher, daycare provider, therapist, homemaker, and their full-time job. And that's just because of the attitude that we have towards women in their work. Like, as long as we view family life, caretaking, child rearing as women's work, then it means that women who want to be professional leaders, they can't fully participate because they're going to be the first asked by their partners or asked by their families, or even compelled by society to, you know, leave their leadership roles or leave their jobs to take care of the home. So once we begin to rethink the way that we think about our interior lives, so what we do at home and how women, you know, what's expected of women, once we take care of that, then we'll see more equality. I will say I've seen a lot of progress, like as a millennial, and like how the men that are my age, how they're thinking about things. But there's still a long ways to go, because just like with like racism, we are battling like a system that was centuries, even longer than that. That was years in the making. So it's going to take quite a bit to shift that. But it's possible. Like stats say it's possible.
Yeah, I guess anything is possible when you think about it, you know?
Yeah, we've come a long way. Like you said, I have to give props where it's due. We are a little more equal, but like you said, still a long way to go.
Got a long way to go, right? Well, this is something that I spoke with one of my mentors, and I'm actually going to meet with her again the end of this week. But something that she told me that really kind of stuck out to me, and I'm going to ask you the same question, is what are you currently doing that will make your future self say, damn girl, you did that?
Okay, so Steph Curry recently had this quote. I don't watch sports, but I came across this quote on Twitter, and he says, you know, I have a lot to accomplish. I don't have anything left to prove. There's a difference there. And that's where I'm at. Like that is, I feel like in this year coming out of the pandemic, I'm gonna be transparent, turning 31. I realize like I am no longer proving things to people. I'm either walking in who I am, or I'm creating a space where I don't have to beg for acceptance or beg for the validation or, prove the validation. So I'm giving myself a break. Like that, my damn girl moment is like, damn, like that's the time where you stopped and smelled the roses. You were grateful for everything that brought you to that moment. You were fulfilled, and therefore you were able to pour into others. Like I am giving myself a break so that I can show up fully in other ways for other people. Once I realized that, I think the other piece, the other damn girl moment, is I'm now shifting my thinking. So I'm going from, I need to put myself on, I need to figure out this, I want to be in this room, I need to sit at this table. I've done all that. I'm now trying to figure out how can I change an entire industry, or how can, you and I talked about hating our jobs.
Yes.
Less than, how many years ago was that?
Girl, like what, 3, 4, 5?
It was longer than that. Maybe like 6 years.
It could be 6. Yeah, it could be 6. Yeah. You're right.
Dang. I thought y'all was sizing it, but you're right.
Yes.
Because when's the last time we did the big cognac cupcakes and conversations?
That was probably like 2017.
Yeah.
So
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
I said, geez.
Right. Yeah. So 5 years from that, 5 years ago, being stuck, feeling like I can't be a full-time creative. I hate my job. I have to work in this environment. I have to change myself. I have to show up, talk the right way, speak the right way, do the right thing, say it the way that they want me to do it, do things that I hate. I'm now in a place, now that I'm removed from that, I'm now in a place to figure out like, how do I free other people? Toni Morrison has a quote too, like your job.
You know how powerful that is?
Yes.
You out here pioneering, like you was the reincarnated Harriet Tubman of the media industry for millennials.
Yes.
Girl, I love it.
Toni Morrison, I know I got quotes today. Toni Morrison, because this keeps echoing in my mind throughout this year, but she has this quote that says, your job, once you get these fancy jobs, you get degrees, you get all the things that you want, your resume looks how you want it, even before that, but she didn't say that. But once you do all those things, your job is to free somebody else. Like the whole point of getting power or getting at the table where power is being leveraged is to, dismantle the system, but she didn't say that. But your job is to empower somebody else. And that is where I'm at. And that's the biggest shift. And it's been I'm already seeing, I know you said in the future, but I'm already seeing, damn girl, like, you're thinking bigger than how can I get into this room? You're thinking of like, let's make the room bigger. Like, how do we break down the walls in this room? Why is it even a room?
Right.
So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Damn,
Damn,
girl.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
So I guess I'm up next.
Yep.
I'm gonna skip one of those questions and just go straight to what's next for you, aside from freeing us.
What is next for me? So currently at Creative Theory Agency, I am focused on doing research on Black History Month ads. We have a survey out. If you go to the Creative Theory Agency Instagram, there's a survey that you can take there, but we're really trying to research and find people's opinions on the Black History Month ads. A lot of companies and, corporate agendas have come into play for Black History Month. And we just want to know, like, do people feel like these ads are resonating with them? Do they feel seen? Do they feel celebrated? Do they feel inspired by these ads? So I'm working on that. The other piece is this is the 2021, currently working on the 2021 DC Funk Parade documentary. So that's coming out in the spring. And so that's just been like a joy, especially as we think about It's been a joy because it's like, you know, working with the community, and I care about the arts. You know, I love a good live music show. So, and I love things like DC Funk Parade, things that make DC what it is. So just building that and creating that, really excited about that. It's a chance to, you know, preserve history. Like, I think because we're so in it, we're living it, it's easy to like take it for granted. So I'm a part of capturing that. And then lastly, just continuing those conversations. Well, not even lastly, because I'm thinking on my other baby, my son, 90-minute workday. But just I'm making it a point this year. So I've had a lot of conversations about the gig economy at Georgetown University, but I'm also making it a point to connect with Black students there as well. You know, they're our future. And so I just want to make sure that they feel like they have what they need to make it whatever they want. Like, I trust their vision. Like, I'm not looking for them to be, you know, Gen X, or I'm not even looking for them to finish, you know, what millennials couldn't do. I am so excited to see what everyone after us, Gen Z and younger, what they're going to bring to Black culture. And so I just want to be a part of like making sure they feel equipped to do that. And that they know they have somebody in their corner. And then now my son, 90-minute workday, that's always going to be like, I don't even think of that as like, it's a community, but I don't think of it as like a thing I do or like a brand or something that is next, because it's something that I do all the time. Like, Fiona and I have 90-minute work dates every week just with each other. Like, okay, what you working on? All right, I'm working on this. I'm gonna check on you when the timer's off. Oh, you struggle with that? Send it to me. I'll take a look at it. Like, you know, so just having that connection with her, and just being able to extend that into community. Our next one is March 20th, and then the one after that will be the last Saturday in April, which I think is the 24th. So,
I can't wait to go to another one, because there's things that we both, girl, we need a come to Jesus moment. And that's what the last one that we went to was for us.
Yeah.
Focus. We can definitely give a testimony about 90-minute workday. And it was really dope at the end when everybody was kind of sharing their updates on you know, what they were able to get done and what they plan to do going forward. It's like almost holding yourself accountable without the like huge level of pressure.
Yep.
Yes.
And not kicking yourself in the ass either, like, you do this,
right?
Like, you just. And I think it's great because for tasks, it's good. It's a really good tool to use, or a good source to use for completing portions of a task, because I know I'm one of those people with regular work and just CCC things in general. I will try to complete one whole, like if I'm editing a video that's gonna take a couple days, I'll find myself trying to finish the whole thing in one day, and it's like, girl,
right,
like, you need to cut it. So OT Genesis, all right.
Okay.
So yeah. So like having that 2 hours is kind of more of a realistic standard setting for yourself. Like, all right, I know that I'm going to do this piece of this task or this goal that I'm trying to achieve. So that is a gotcha.
I love that you shared that, because that is literally every reason that you just listed. Like, I had to be in my head about it in order to like find like the Pomodoro technique, which is working in 90-minute rounds with a 25-minute break. I had to like find the tool, and then I was like, yo, like I know other people need this. Like, so do this with me. Like, meet me in the library. Like, that's how Fiona and I became friends. Like, just hanging out, doing these 90-minute work days. I didn't even know her. That's why she was the perfect 90-minute workday person. Because I was like, I don't know you. I'm not gonna talk to you at all. Right. But
now y'all going on trips.
Right. Exactly.
Like, now we're like best friends. Yeah, so I like love that you shared, both of you shared that, because that's literally why we built it. We want it to be like productivity, but not painful, where you're beating yourself up, and you know and if you didn't get something done, you feel supported. Like, you don't feel like I'm alone, because I think we all struggle there, especially as like people who got a lot going on.
Yep.
Yep. And the last thing that we have is, we want you to say a 60-second love message to the future women in media.
Okay, women in media, future women in media. I would like you to know that you are absolutely powerful beyond measure. Walk in that. Don't wait for anybody to validate that for you. Find it, find what you believe in yourself and hold on to it. And if you want to build it out and share it with the world, do that. If you want to keep it to yourself and nurture it internally, and that's just something you do personally, do that as well. It'll all make sense. You know, you're not many people are taking your path. So all the detours and the obstacles are making you more skilled at navigating this whole thing. So stay weird, nerd out, be fulfilled in the moment, but stay hungry for ways to make a difference and an impact. And believe that you can do it. Believe that you can create something better. Believe that you can get what you want. Believe it and then do it.
That was lovely.
Thanks, y'all.
The perfect way to end
This was a
an
good
interview. Like, I just love it.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yes, I definitely appreciate it. I think this is something that every girl needs to hear. Not even just women in media, just in general.
Yeah. You know what it is? Like, I be trying to tell people shit that I need. Like, I had to have these conversations with myself, somebody else, whether it was a book or a person or a mentor or a random rap song, but I had to get those from somewhere else. And so I like, anytime I learn something, I try to make it a mission of like, let me share it so like other people don't gotta struggle. Like, you know, like Kels, you DM me, ask me one thing, and I've been like, okay, this is all the ways you could probably get it. I just like don't make the mistakes that I made, or make them, but make them with skill. Like
Right.
like I'm making a mistake, but I did it on purpose because I was
Exactly.
Well, tell them where we can find your
Yes.
information, like where we can find you and follow you.
Yeah. Okay. So for all things Cult Classiq, including Cult TV, the show, the blogging, if I return to that, anything that's coming up in my world in terms of creating content and producing things, you can follow me at Cult Classiq. So that's CultClassiq. And then if you want to support a Black-owned agency that also houses a store featuring Black-owned brands throughout the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, follow Creative Theory Agency on Instagram. The handle is Creative Theory Agency on all social media platforms. And then for 90-minute workday, if you want to connect with me or the co-founder Fiona and you want to work with us, bring your to-do list and just get it in, put in the work, make some new moves, you can follow us at 90-minute workday on Instagram. So that's 90-minute workdate. And then you can also just pull up on us March 20th. Bring your to-do list. We're doing work.
Yes.
Thank you again.
We appreciate you.